Welcome to UC Today. My name is David Dungay. I am here at the Gaylord Palms in Orlando. It's Enterprise Connect 2022. It's so brilliant to be back face to face. I'm here with Zeus Kerravala. Welcome to the show, Zeus. How are you?
I'm doing good. Here we are live, right? It's been 2 years in the making, or almost 3 years in the making for this event now. So it is exciting to be back live. It's good to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in quite a while. So there's a lot of energy here, and I think everyone's excited to be back.
Absolutely. So, Zeus, we're on day 2. You did a couple of sessions yesterday. There's one in particular I want to ask you about, and that is around these composable solutions. It's kind of this next phase of communications. How are you going to get to this composable space?
Yeah, it is the next phase, and it's sort of fascinating to see communications evolve, because we went from a world where we had these monolithic PBXs, we turned them into monolithic IP PBXs, not a lot different except it ran over the data network. Then we took those monolithic IP PBXs, put them in the cloud, and that created the first wave of cloud vendors. And it didn't really change architecture too much, but it did allow us to move to more to that pay-per-use model, right? Now that most of the vendors have gone back and redone their platforms and made them cloud native, they're based on microservices, containers, a lot of really interesting cloud native technology. It allows you to take the basic building blocks of communications and break it down into like individual API components and create these composable experiences. And what I mean by that is, the traditional Zoom or WebEx or whatever interface that you get is great for the traditional knowledge worker, right? And that's how it's been used. But in the pandemic, what happened is we send everybody home, and we made people learn over it. We made people entertain themselves over it. We had doctors doing things over it. We did court proceedings over it. And what we found was that one basic stock experience doesn't work for everybody. Just like in the CRM space, that Salesforce experience doesn't work for everybody. You need these custom experiences, and that's what composability brings. Now, if I always had to contact my developer, right, it would take too long, right? But that's certainly one avenue. And so most of these composable solutions are comprised of APIs that you can ask your developer to build you something and go through the normal 6-month process, and you might want to do that. But what's really been exciting is most of the vendors now have built these low-code, no-code interfaces. So guys like you and I, anybody who's a software power user that can drag and drop icons, can now create your own unique experiences. And that's really what composability brings, is the democratization of communications, so it's usable by everybody without having to go through a lot of work and trying to figure out how to change my workflow and things like that. So, think of that traditional application being the 80% and then composability addressing the rest of the world.
So, Zeus, tell me, there'll be a lot of people watching today thinking, this is my business, I sit in this vertical, in this niche, how do I really go about, what things should I be thinking about to get to this sort of composable solution that's right for me? What should I think about?
Yeah, I think in that regard, in fact, a lot of companies I've talked to now, when they sent everyone home, they went through this mad panic, and I'm going to bring this vendor in for this and this vendor in for this, and we have 4, 5, 6 different collab vendors. A lot of companies taking a step back and going, who is my go-forward platform of the future? And I think this is hard, right? This isn't just speeds and fees and looking, do you have this virtual background or this virtual background, right? It's digging under the covers and understanding, does your provider, are they built on a true cloud native platform? Are they microservices based? And you can see a lot of that. Like, do they have to host their own data centers, or can they run an AWS, right? That sort of thing. If they can run an AWS, then it's portable. They can spin up nodes very quickly. Do they have the different types of tools to let different types of people interact with your APIs? And so, the developer tools are one thing, but again, if you look at the rise of low-code, no-code, right? That's a great way to let line of business people create their own experiences. So you might be an insurance company and have a field service person that wants to go out in the field and take a couple of pictures, and they need a very small set, of what you offer. And that can only be done if you really have that true cloud native foundation. But to me, this is a very big challenge for buyers, because not all cloud providers are equal, right? And so, there's a lot of older platforms out there that are still monolithic in nature, and you need to do your homework and understand, can they actually address the needs of today, but also, what you're going to need in the future.
Sure. So, cloud native is going to be incredibly important for us getting to this composable sort of landscape. Your second session yesterday, around distributed cloud. What does this mean for this space?
Yeah, so I think distributed clouds are, maybe the biggest shift we've had in cloud since the birth of cloud, right? And in fact, I would argue that up until recently, all we've really had with clouds are centralized compute nodes. And so I took a workload and I put it in a cloud provider. It might even be an AWS or GCP or Azure, but it's still a centralized compute node, right? And so I had to run everything there. Now that communications has gone composable, right, and we can break it down into these subcomponents of video, voice, messaging, things like that, I don't have to have it all centrally located. I can put it out at the edge. And so distributed computing is the concept that I have a virtual cloud fabric that's comprised of public cloud, private cloud, and edge computing. And now I can start to place these resources where it makes sense. And so a good example would be if I'm a security company and all I really care about is video analytics, I can put a little processor on my video camera. I can take a video feed, and in real time, I can maybe look at license plates or facial recognition. I don't need anything else on there. And I'm not trying to do webinars over that platform or anything. I want to do video recognition. And so what distributed cloud lets me do is place those resources and data where it makes the most sense. And so I think that's really the next phase of cloud, is to take the centralized model, break it up, and make it distributed. And that's going to allow us to put a lot more experiences in a lot more places. I've talked to Major League Baseball. They've got edge computing nodes in every stadium now, so they can show you all this really cool data during the game and things. And it's a trend that's going to be big. And frankly, it's going to take this cloud framework that we've created and explode it. And this industry is on the verge of becoming much bigger than it has been in the past.
Fantastic. So we're here at the start of day two, the big day, really, the big day, Enterprise Connect. What are you looking forward to for the rest of the event? What kind of things are exciting you at the minute?
Well, it's been 2 years since we've seen some of these vendors on stage, right? And so the keynotes today, we got Microsoft, Cisco, AWS today. I think Zoom and Ring tomorrow, right? So it's good to see how these vendors are thinking about this next era of communications. There is no greater change engine in business than hybrid work, right? All the IT people that are here have to be prepared for a world where everyone's in the office, everyone's out of the office, and every possible combination in between. The thing that enables us to continue to work and continue to be productive are these collaboration tools, but they have to change, right? They need to become distributed and composable and things. And so what I'm really looking forward to is seeing how the vendor community has adapted to this new world of hybrid work, because hybrid work isn't remote work. It's a lot different, right? Because people are going to be in the office, out of the office, and you want to maintain that consistent user experience. And so I think these web tools that these meeting tools we built in the past have really been meant for remote workers, not hybrid workers. That's a fundamentally different problem that they're trying to solve.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen so much evolution in the last 2 years. We're going to see a whole lot more in the next two and beyond. It's a really exciting space right now. Zeus, look, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining me.
No, thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here in UC today.
And thank you for watching. You've been watching me, David Dungay, in UC Today. Stay tuned for updates at Enterprise Connect.